In this video, I'm going to find the zeros in the vertex form of f of x equals 1/2 x squared minus 3x plus 1. So to find zeros, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this equal to 0. So I'm going to set 1/2 x squared minus 3x plus 1 equal to 0. I know that I'm not going to do a magic x. I'm not even going to attempt it with a fraction there, especially with that leading coefficient fraction. So I'm going to go straight to quadratic formula and see what happens. So x equals x equals negative b. The b is this negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4. My a value is 1/2 and my c value is 1, all over 2 times my a value 1/2. So this actually isn't looking too bad. I know this double negative here is going to be positive, plus or minus the square root of 9. Check this out. 2 goes into 4 twice. So I've got 2 times 1, which is just going to be 2. And then check this out. Look at these 2's. How nice is that? Those cancel. So my denominator is just 1. So I get 3 plus or minus the square root of 7, or square root of 7, because that's 9 minus 2, and then nothing on the denominator. Technically, my zeros, I would write that as my x value, and this is 0. Technically, that's 2 different values, and I could put it in my calculator and get some decimal points if I really wanted to. I'm going to do the vertex form now. So I'm going to start by converting that f of x to a y equals 1/2 x squared minus 3x plus 1. I have to get rid of that leading coefficient, and this is a little different because it's a fraction. So instead of dividing everything by 2, I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So that way this cancels, okay? So that gives me 2y equals x squared. Negative 2 times negative 3 is negative 6x, and 2 times 1 is 2. Completing the square says I take this 2 and I move it to the left. So 2y minus 2 plus blank equals x squared minus 6x plus blank. Then I set up for my cheating factoring. I take the negative 6 and I divide it by 2. That gives me negative 3. I square it. That gives me 9 to both sides. So I get 2y, and then negative 2 plus 9 is 7. I'm going to take that 7 and move it to the other side. So I get 2y equals x minus 3 squared minus 7. Now, we haven't seen something like this happen before. I'm going to take and I'm going to divide everything by 2. And technically, it's this whole thing. I'm writing it kind of goofy on purpose. So you get y equals, this right here is this function divided by 2. Dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. So we'd probably write it as 1/2 x minus 3. This guy here, though, I would leave as negative 7/2. Oh, the vertex, I almost forgot to write it. The vertex, remember, I'm going to change the sign on anything inside the parentheses, and then I keep the sign on something outside. It's okay that that's a fraction, not a big deal.